Hello, I'm Barb Keisman, and I feel led to tell more stories about what I had to deal with when I moved into a drug neighborhood. We felt led to move into this neighborhood, and we lived there for 30 years, and it was mostly pure chaos. During the summers, there would be 15 to 20 to 50 people hanging out in the alley. We had moved into the party neighborhood. We had to make phone calls twice a night, sometimes 3 times a night because of the chaos. And I remember coming home and thinking, oh my gosh, I should be freaked out. My kids are in this neighborhood. And as we were walking home towards our house, I seen an aura. Now, I told you that because you need to know I felt protected in this neighborhood, and I felt like God was protecting my children as well. So I'm going to tell you another story about how I had to confront some of the people in our neighborhood. I was going to have a Bible study in my house one day, and it was about 6 o'clock, and all these gals were going to come to my house. And in the alley, there were 2 women who were fighting all day long. Now, each of these gals were twice my size, just to give you an idea. And they had been fighting all day long, and every time they would start a fight, people would gather around them. And so I started having this conversation with God. I said, God, this has got to end. I'm used to this chaos, but the women coming to my Bible study are going to be totally freaked out. This has got to end by 4 o'clock. Lord, if you don't end this, I'm going to have to go back there. So I'm having this conversation with God. And at 4 o'clock, they're back there fighting again. So, true to my word, I charge in between them. And I'm thinking to myself, Lord, if they, one swing, and they can wipe me out. But I just did it anyway, and already one of the gals had her shirt ripped off by the other gal. She was wearing a bra, thank God. But that's how that fight had been progressing. And in the corner of my eye, I see somebody with a cell phone filming me, and I'm like, great, this is going to be on YouTube. But I just charged in there. I'm like, this has got to stop. This has got to stop. And then one of them goes, this isn't none of your business. This is none of your business. I'm going, this is my neighborhood. This is my neighborhood. And I start jumping up and down saying, this is my neighborhood. This is my neighborhood. Well, somebody else finally called the police, and they came and broke the fight up. But you know what happened after was so interesting. I never did see those gals again. I don't know why they were in our neighborhood. I don't know whose house they were visiting, but I never saw those gals again. And then the women who had been watching that fight got brave, and they started to tell me what had been happening in the neighborhood. And you know what? I discovered your bravery can help somebody else be brave. They were afraid, just as I was, of those 2 women, because bullies intimidate. If they don't intimidate, they're not real bullies, but bullies intimidate. And so you can be afraid to confront them. But until somebody confronts them, they get to continue on being bullies and having their way. I feel led to tell these stories because Jesus says that we are to be the salt of the earth. We are to preserve this earth from sin taking over it. And we have many different situations in our country where bullies are trying to take over our country and making it unsafe for our kids, our grandkids, our neighborhoods. And until somebody gets brave and confronts them, they're going to continue doing their works. Now, I felt protected. And I understand it's a scary thing to go against some of these bullies. But somebody has got to get some courage and start to confront the people that are starting to cause all this chaos. Or we're not going to have much of a society left worth living in. And our kids, like I said, will not be safe either. We're called to be the salt of the earth, and I know this doesn't feel Christian. Trust me, I didn't feel very Christian going back there, yelling at these people. But you know what? Sometimes there's no nice way of stopping this stuff. You just got to get in there and get the job done. And who knows if your bravery isn't going to inspire somebody else to be courageous to stop their bullies. This is going to take some thinking about, and there are times that I did not feel led to confront. I felt a check in my spirit. This has got to be spirit-led. But if the Spirit leads you to confront, then you need to confront. Because what we tolerate will continue to exist until we put a stop to it. We have that authority and we have that power, but we must exercise it. I'm Barb Keisman, and you've been listening to Dare to Dream Once More.